Hello everyone. Just waiting for people to turn up. Hello Eroth. Hi Bydre. There we go. Here comes everybody. Hi guys. Excellent. Well, we'll just have a bit more of a wait, a couple more minutes, and before we start properly, just give everybody a chance to turn up. We've got quite a few people already. So we're just outside Pearl Harbor at the moment. What I want to do today is talk about things like raids and recons and various other bits and bobs like that, and amphibious assaults. Hi MadB01. Yeah, so today we're looking at the Pacific map, obviously, being Victory at Sea Pacific. I don't know if you watched Jive Turkey's stream, it was really good, I really enjoyed that. It's nice that he gets how big it is, because the game does take quite a while to get anywhere, which is a good thing, because you've got so many things to be getting on with. But let me just get you up to speed anyway as to where we are. So I've got Task Force 3 here, and that is on patrol. I'll just show people how you do a patrol. You press right click, there's the patrol. Now if I just click there, the fleet will go between those points. But if I hold down shift and click, shift and right click again, and that can set a patrol. So they'll actually go round Pearl Harbor there, just in case. We've got 4 subs appeared here, against 3 destroyers. What I want to do is get these guys down here. They're moving towards Macon. Oh, hi Pixis UK. So, yeah, these guys are going to go down to Macon. We're going to order a raid on Macon Atoll. As you can see, what I've done, I've split them into a carrier group here with a circle formation. In fact, I want a line formation for my destroyers, kind of a bit of a screen. So yeah, so there we go. So that's that. What else we got? Well, I've got a carrier group going into resupply at Johnston. Got these destroyers already. There's the orders got to attack there, and basically we've got a few fleets moving into resupply. These guys here are busy repairing, and if you go on the fleet here, I've still got these are still holding icons because they're holding ships at the moment, but I've set them all to prioritise repair. Okay, so let's start rolling. I'm going to turn the speed up. Oh, enemy vessels spotted near Hawaii already. That's the reason you do patrols in the first place. We've got 5 subs. So I'm going to get that. They're going to come off their patrol. We're going to intercept. Don't like the idea of 2 tugs taking on the subs. So there we go. Worry about splitting this fleet too much, because what I could do is split this fleet, because there's so much sub activity around here. I could split this fleet off and create a new task force and send them in, but I'm going to take a risk because we're not really interested. People saw that we were doing subs last time, and so I don't want to spend too long doing sub battles today. So I may make some stupid errors in the name of trying to get these task forces to actually let's let them do their thing. Oh, Kamchatka's going. Here we go. It's not kick off now. I'm more interested at the moment about this carrier fleet here. Continue that. Let's have a look. Right. Continue. There's a lot going on. Komandorski, they're doing an amphibious assault on it already. If I was smart, I'd have started sending some fleets down to these neutral ports as well. Try and take those. Obviously, Guadalcanal famously is a race for all that anyway. Let's have a look. Enemy vessels view on map. Yeah, there's a lot of enemy sub activity. And if you saw my last stream, actually, setting the sub fleets up, the destroyer fleets up differently, I can really helps me to take them on. But right now, I'm just going down here for the raids. So, slow it down a minute. So, what I've got here, I can literally launch a raid, or I could recon as well. So if I recon, basically that will help for the amphibious assault, because at the moment we've got no actual data on the port itself. So the plan is obviously one good way to do that is to get a sub, and actually you can, if I go, actually let's just go on to the combat view right now. So imagine, because I haven't got any subs on me at the moment, but if you've got binoculars and you've got periscope, so essentially you could have a submerged sub, and if you're near the port, you can actually raise your periscope and recon all the buildings and anything that is of strategic value. But right now, I'm just looking at my fleet here, my task force. Destroyers over there. But so yeah, so that's what you do essentially, is you can basically go in and do a recon that way, or just let the computers handle it like as well. The trick is obviously if you do a recon with a fleet that the port's going to spot, they're obviously going to take some hits. But if you can, which is why it's really good to get subs submerged and do some covert recons. Hi X603. So yeah, so what I'll do is I'm going to get this now, and I'm literally going to tell it to go and raid. Speed up time. And here we go. So Task Force 8, which we're on, requests permission to launch aircraft against Makin Atoll. Now this is something we've added, as you know, we've been working into features at the moment and tweaking things, and from the last time we've added this, but essentially now I can actually say no and prevent the task force from launching too early. I could go in right now and start to coordinate the attack, but I'm going to say no for now and let them move in. Darwin's been occupied. This is where the future changes. There we go. So Task Force 8 has engaged the enemy in the North Pacific. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, press go. And what we've got now is the starting combat. So again, you could start this out further out. I mean, this is actually in game terms, it's still quite far out. But this way at least, I can get us in there, get some combat going, and you can actually see what's going on. So let's go back here. And here is my squadron. MadB01 says, did you get the morale sorted? What was that again? We've been working into quite a few bits of morale. You're talking about the icons, because we've still got currently got the usual icons at the moment. We're still looking at some options for that. So yeah, so what we're going to look at then is what we're going to do with these ships. So I'm going to bring the the carrier fleet back here, and I'm going to get the destroyer fleet here, kind of just screening at the moment, because what I'm going to try and do is just launch a raid with basically send out the planes first and actually control it. So here we go. So if you look on the sea right now, that's the, slow down a minute, that's the position of the that's the way the wind's going. So basically the carrier will only launch planes when it goes into the wind, so we need to turn it in that direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually do this. Now you can, again, there's different ways of doing it. I could literally, there's a fleet there, and there's making. I could literally right click on it and select attack and let the squadron deal with it. There's lots of different ways to do things. The AI takes over then. In fact, let me just go to the Baker squadron a moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get them to move and hold their position. I don't want them getting too brave and heading too close. So what I'm going to do is get this fleet here, and I'm going to manually sort this out. So I'm going to get them to turn. What you do is speed up a little bit. There we go. Right. I'm going to turn down the speed a little bit of the fleet in general. X03 said, just found out about this game from Jive Turkey's video. Looking forward to getting my hands on it. Yeah, we're really glad that Jive Turkey really enjoyed it, because he was one of the guys we had on our list. And some other people, in fact one of our last Twitch streams somebody mentioned Jive Turkey. And it's nice to know that he got into it and got the fact, you know, got all the things that you can micromanage in this game, but also you can you know, play it on a more superficial level. And it's really much it's really nice that that's coming across. So there we go. So we've got the fleet turned this way. Okay, now what you can do is you can, there's my dive bombers, and again you can change these in port as well, so you can switch the flights around with different planes. There's torpedo bombers, that sort of thing. Down here's your systems. Slow it down a minute actually, just so I don't get tacked too soon. You've got your systems down here. Torpedo belt, stores, that sort of thing. And they've all got different systems and different planes and weapon systems. So with this guy we can either start manually selecting planes like that, or we can press shift and click selections of planes like that, and we can just literally launch them off. Or, as some people saw last time, you can select whole bunches of ships in one go, like so, and that will just launch out an entire collection. So right now, obviously, what I could do, I think, is I'm going to get the torpedo bomber flights. We've got a couple of fleets over there, quite out of range at the moment, but I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to start launching the torpedo bombers that way, and I'm going to get all the bomber flights, and I'm going to get them launching towards Macon. So what I'm going to do is attack. Obviously, you don't want to defend Macon, but you can select fighters and that to defend the fleet around. Hydro said, "Are there more classes of carriers?" Yeah, there's lots of different carriers, and they unlock as you go through the game. I can't remember half of them off the top of my head now, but we've got escort carriers and lots of different types like that. I've just got a question. If you click attack with C with the carrier, will it use the right type of aircraft or just launch all? No, it will. It is selective. So it's again one good thing about being selective yourself is that you can start to pick targets. So I could send it across, some across the fleet, some across the Macon, that sort of thing. So if we go over to Macon, if I click on it, and there it is, just waiting for the attack at the moment. Their alarms will be going, their sirens will be going off soon. Speed up a minute to get the planes going out. Yeah, oh, there we go. Once I get all the flights coming. There we go. I'll continue. Just slow it down. Ooh. So it's good sometimes to just speed up time. To allow all your flights to get out and launch. So there's your dive bombers coming out now, ready, all lined up. Whoa, what have we got here? Oh, that's the fleet. We've got a big cargo fleet coming up here as well. Again, eyes on the prize. It's supposed to be raiding. Oh. Torpedo bombers. Let's get them attacking over there. Pegasus UK, is there a way to direct the plane's attack? You can, yeah, with this one you can, I mean, you can manually sort of it gives orders. You can stack orders as well by pressing shift and clicking. Again, for me, we'll put, you know, the bits I really enjoy doing are the launching, doing the carrier flights, that sort of thing. But you can even manually do the bombs as well. So it's like there's actually. You can actually set them yourself and actually fly the planes. If you look down here, there's an altitude, that sort of stuff. I don't want to mess with it too much at the moment because I'm and there's the target. I should be launching. Oh, here we go. And if this was night time, obviously the spotlights would give an improved chance to hit, because basically you can triangulate with the spotlights and things and try and that'll help the the anti-aircraft fire. Let's go back to the flight a minute. They're going quite high at the moment. So obviously they'll start to dive. Progress of the torpedo. Okay, they're just coming out now, getting ready to take on that fleet. There was a slight bug there with the things. Again, I should have mentioned at the beginning. This game's not released yet. It's still pre-release state, so we are fixing the odd bug here and there. So if it does go a bit weird, I will tell you, because I don't want you thinking, oh, what's that? It's a bit strange or whatever else. So the odd things going to go. Sometimes the odd thing go a bit weird. As as we're fixing. Right, so 1 second. You have to excuse me. Somebody just said about the plane noise. If I get the turn these down a moment. Hopefully, it's because I'm so close with the planes. Obviously, the closer you get. There we go. Go. I'm flicking between the bridge and that. So. You like the stack feature? Vector to bring wings onto a broadside is available. Could not hear part of your description due to plane noise. Yeah, that's the problem. Getting too close with the planes. Let me just let them do their dive bombing at the moment. Yeah, so in answer to the question, I'll go back to the carrier a moment actually while we return for the second bombing run. So basically you can stack orders and you can manually launch bombs and things, fire drop bombs and things like that with the planes. So you can basically control them to a much greater degree than in Victory at Sea. And again, like I said, you could stack orders, so you could literally tell it to move over to one area. Basically, if you press attack, the planes will do what they feel is their best chance to, go and take out the target. But again, what the player decides, the reason we've got these the ability to actually take out. Control things to a much greater degree is simply because, that's the point. Is that if the more you work at this, the better you'll get at it, and you can beat the AI at its game. And so certainly, controlling the flights to a much greater degree is a really useful part of it. So. Yeah, I mean, like I said, even down to dropping down the altitude, that sort of stuff as well. So X0603 says, how open is this to modding? Could see this as a great game for modding. Yeah, that's the plan. Basically, we're focusing on the main campaigns first. But there'll be whether it comes out on launch day, but it'll come out very soon afterwards. There should be there'll be a mod system going in for free as well. So we did that with the original Victory at Sea. The plan being, obviously, you can change all the stats for the ships. You can set, as we were discussing with the team before. The ability to change ports so that you could set a lot of ports to neutral and define very specific ports that you've actually got control of, which will change things dramatically. Obviously, at this point, the Japanese went right across the Pacific, rapidly moving. So that was a massive factor in the Allied response, trying to build something that was going to you be able to counterattack with. But again, you can change that to whatever you want. I think as I said, the key is with this game is that the more that you play, the more history changes. And that's the thing. So it very much, and the AI is reactive to it as well. So let's speed this up, get the flights back. There we go. They're kind of landing. That's it. So That's that. I'm going to select the destroyer fleet. Oh, in fact, I missed it. Do that. Select the destroyer fleet and attack. And that's the thing with this. You could select each. What I did there was select that ship individually by accident, and you can order them to each do something completely different, and they'll break formation. It looks like we've caught a lot of things by surprise over here. So, but my main focus is trying to get this damage to this port. So let's get the dive bomber flight, and we'll start connecting up. And that's also one of the tips I would say. Don't get distracted, because you know, there's so many things happening. You've got to let the computer do things as well. Otherwise, you know, I suppose, like in actual war, you kind of, you know, mistakes can happen. We've got here, got some destroyers coming in. Goodies. Oh, we've got some little torpedo boats trying to get to us, just out of range. So let's. I'll just turn them in that direction, because if I turn, I'll keep them in a line formation, and once they're in range, they'll start taking out the enemy. That'll slow it down a bit. Or raid making it. That's the thing. See, when you speed up, a lot of things happen. So I successfully raided making, basically, because a raid is a hit and run, as you know, it's like teaching you guys to suck eggs. You know what? You know, we're talking about a raid. It's supposed to be, you know, as minimal resources as possible. So, you know, it's not always recommended to stick around. So if I went back to the bridge here, I can come down here and recall all flights, and I can get the Task Force 8, and I might just go. I could go and resupply at Johnston. Like so. Right. One thing I might do as well is I'm going to go to San Diego, and I'm going to build some ships. How much control do you have over ship design? Is that, I think that's like adding more AA, but getting rid of the main guns on DDs. Right now, you can upgrade fleets. You can upgrade specific ships. If I show you here, and there'll be different options for upgrades. That might be something we could do down the line with mods, is to add more control over actually changing things. I think the thing was, what we were concerned with at the beginning was the fact that this is such a big scale RTS, and there's so many things to manage that you know, it's trying to pick your battles with what you need to manage. So what we could do as well, or do I do that now? What have I got? I've only got 872 war bonds at the moment. I want some subs. So, in fact, Pearl Shipyard, I'm going to build some subs. So, if I build this, and I can upgrade there with improvements with the radar, and they've all got different improvements for the different fleets. So if I do that, we can come to San Diego, and again, these are just abstractions on the side here. They're not obviously those ports aren't in the middle of the Pacific. They're just there to reflect the you know, the sheer, you know, the building power of the U.S. coastline, you know, of the U.S. mainland. And so we needed something in there so you could build ships and get them out. Task Force 8 has engaged the enemy in the North Pacific. Oh, they're still caught in that raid. That's what it is. So they'll be trying to head out. And then we've got Task Force 6 here. But anyway, so I want to go to the ports. I want to go to San Diego. Again, if we were playing this properly, I'd have been concentrating and managing what my fleets are all doing. But I just wanted to show you some raids and things like that. So we've got the subs being built in Pearl Harbor. So what we got? The other thing that's important to do is you've got your supply lines. So you know you can decide how much. Get some cargo ships, there's oil tankers, that sort of thing. Get them being built as well. You've got to do that. And say, for instance, now I want to start moving my supplies to the front line. And as you start taking ports, obviously that front line moves on as well. So what you can do, if I set Johnston to high priority, that'll start to bring some more of these convoys towards Johnston. So I know that I can resupply there and get lots of equipment back, fuel, ammunition, that sort of stuff. So it's really important to manage your supply lines. Make sure you don't run out of steam, essentially. So let's start speeding up a minute. Again, I'm letting the game manage this a bit. As you can see here, the Task Force 8 has peeled away from making. He's going back to resupply. Continue. So just had the question: does the game have the ability to use a ruse to retreat, i.e., smoke? Yes. Well, you basically. Bear with me a moment. So yeah, let's go. Yeah, actually, let's go to Task Force 8. If I go to the combat view, so what the destroyers have got, for instance, the smoke screen. So they'll start to generate smoke. Like so. So you can actually create lines of smoke, as you can see here, and that's harder to shoot through. It's basically an abstraction of the idea. So you can actually screen off. So say if you had a convoy this side, you could try and protect them that way. You've also got, right now we haven't got storms, but we do obviously have night, and we've got star shells for that as well. So you can fire star shells. Which obviously improves the hit. So the smoke affects the hit, and star shells improve the hit. So yeah, I could get a line of destroyers, putting in going in and laying out some smoke to try and hamper the enemy targeting systems, essentially. Well, hi, Smiley One. So yeah, so there we go right now. So that's that. So we're just gonna, what I want to do is try and get, where's this Pearl. Let's have a look at shipyard. See, this is what happens when I'm losing the Aleutians at the moment, but Tulagi's gone. We're only in January. So yeah, I'm just trying to get these subs up. As you can see, I'm losing left, right and centre here, a lot of things. It's good to take your time and manage the different fleets and systems. There we go, Task Force 14. It's ready. That's what I'm going to do. Select the task force. So I'm going to submerge the task force, obviously, as well. And our next task was to raid Tarawa, but I want to. We've got some of the ports scouted, but I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to have a bit of fun with the. The supply convoy's been built at San Diego, but they'll start going off. Basically based around the idea that Oh, yeah, I see that Midway's starting to has got a fleet somewhere. As you see, these planes here got dive bombers out here somewhere. I think is a fleet that's not been spotted. It's probably got sending out some things long range, but that's where patrols come in handy. Again, if I was playing this properly and not just trying to show you a few systems. Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. 4 destroyers, 1 heavy cruiser, 1 battle cruiser, and 3 carriers are going in there. And I haven't got any. I've just basically abandoned Midway, which is not a good thing to do. But we shall just let it happen for now. As you can see up here, the XP bar, it's not gone up very far yet because I haven't done much, but once you start to unlock things, it'll unlock new ships, new things that progress in the game. So it will start to, the war will progress in general. If it too goes, with the war progress bar at the moment, the more the Japanese push it this way, the more that they'll push to sue for peace, and that that'll be the thing, is that there's a point where you obviously will have to surrender. There are obviously for the push along the Pacific, the idea is to again try and cut off the enemy supply. I mean, truck is was historically quite formidable, and so it's always a good one to try and take. And the trick is, once you've taken it, is hold it, because you start getting enemy fleets coming at you, then you're in. If you go for truck, then the enemy will move fleets towards truck to try and take it back. It's also a good tactic, because they do it as well. Is to counter to do feints essentially. So you could send a smaller fleet down here to raid Tarawa, which will draw enemy forces. At which point you could then go and take Wake, or attempt to take Wake. So you can use it to your advantage that way. But again, what I've found is the more you play this, the more tactically you have to rethink. You have to think differently each time, because for instance, I was finding that once you started moving along here, and your supply chains being extended, I was having to patrol and protect a lot more of my fleets against enemy subs, that sort of thing. So there was a lot more destroyer patrols going along, and the destroyers, and their destroyers are coming in and doing hit and runs. So it's about moving all your ordnance up, all your fleets and everything all in one go. So right now we're getting a bit of pushback, obviously, because they've taken Midway. If you keep playing and losing, there will be a point they'll start to say, look, we're starting to get concerned here. We might have to consider surrender unless we can start to change the way turn it around. So let's get this task force in anyway. As you can see here, the British cargo ships moving up. They're trying to connect up with Johnston as well. Taking a risky route through the thing, but I think it's because they got chased by some destroyers and it's pushed them into a different place. So if I go here, let's go into the right, so there's a sub-fleet. Oh, that's a slight bug. They're supposed to start submerged, so they were doing that yesterday, which is always the way. So that pretend that is that they've actually they're already submerged. Good thing is we're out of range at the moment. There's making, so we'll start moving towards it. Steam JWS says, like the Fates to draw out fleets. Do the submarines have any countermeasures to avoid destroyers? Evade destroyers? Yes, they do. What you've got is you've got variable dive depth, so we can run deep. So we can actually go a lot further down, and hopefully evade the enemy fleet. Again, it's a little bit abstracted with this because it is, this isn't a sim, it's an RTS with with some sim elements to it. So there is some abstraction because it's just for ease. But that's the idea basically, is that the fleet will if you want to, you can run a lot deeper. Again, with the enemy. In fact, let me just there's one thing obviously with the enemy fleet there, is that they can let's have a look. Yeah, one thing with the enemy fleet. Oh, hang on, who's this? Oh, I see. Oh, I got destroyers coming at me from behind. I'm too busy talking, not looking at behind. Somebody's come up. So the one thing with the enemy fleet is the more skilled they are. So your fleet as well, that they become better at detecting submarines, that sort of thing. So if I'm going to run deep with these because I was not paying attention to what's going on. I didn't realise we had subs come up behind us. They're destroyers even. Smiley One says, does the AI react to your playstyle and your ability? Do they progress depending on how your playstyle or how you progress based on the tactics used in the time period? Yeah, they do react. They are reactive to it. Basically, the further you go, and depending on what you do, the more they'll try and anticipate what the overall plan is, essentially, because they're as blind as you are, essentially. In fact, I think I might have let's move these in a bit more. There we go. Let's do that a minute, because hopefully that will move out the enemy fleets as well. So yeah, so they're a lot more reactive, and so you can't always. The game won't play exactly the same. Like now, look, I've lost Australia. Obviously that didn't happen, but again, they're doing their own thing. They've got goals, and they based on what's happening historically, but also they will do things if, like for instance, I've been playing it pretty poorly just to show you things, and so they're moving forward. So they're moving forward so quickly that they're starting to get a bit brave. There we go. Let's submerge these again. As I said, that's a bug that's just cropped up, because they would, if you've already set them to submerge, then they will be submerged. Steam JWS says, just think the tactics here, i.e. the Germans using the bottom to evade sonar, ejecting material from tubes to create roofs of destruction. Yes, that was something we were looking at. I think right now, the way we've abstracted it, is it just allows for that, for running really deep to try and avoid detection. But there's certainly things we've been looking at in that respect. Whether that comes out on launch will be another matter. So yeah, so with them submerged, obviously we can get to periscope depth. And let's we'll get that a minute. And get in there, and you can recon all the facilities from afar. And as long as you haven't got destroyers coming up behind you, then you should be able to do it pretty covertly. I was just about unfortunate that suddenly I've got destroyers coming at me. So if I go to the log, then basically we've got you've got all these different reports here as well. So here is a lot of the different reports, and it will come up with things about recons and raids, that sort of thing. And if I come to the fleet screen here, it shows the basic stats of the subs. They're currently fully operated. At the moment, is the morale will go down. You can change that, so they'll gain experience by drilling them, so you can use that, which is basically the battle stations, and it's the drill, or you can repair, or you can prioritise boosting morale. So if they're in port and you don't need to get them out too quick, then you can just prioritise boosting morale that way. So you can keep up to date basically with all of the various aspects. And the sub fleet, as long as it's careful, you can go and recon relatively safely. In fact, so I've got loads of fleets or task forces here, and what I can do is combine a few now as well. In fact, so task force 1 at Pearl Harbor is pretty much up to speed now, so I can start moving them. I'll take them down to Johnston and move them forward. You can combine fleets here as well, so if I get this task force 6 and click and drag, I can merge those two together, and if I move this carrier to the top of the list, that becomes the flagship. So that'll be the thing that it all centres around. And then what we can do is call in an amphibious assault now that making's been reconned. Got there 2 light cruisers been spotted there. We'll let them deal with that, because we're as I've said, I'm not playing it properly. Enemy fleet spotted here. Ooh. Battleships. And usually I'd be managing the rest of the thing while I wait for this to come and do its thing, because it will notify me as I go. But I'm just going to just concentrate on this for now, so we can have a go at this. Yeah, that's the battleships going into Johnston. But I want to have a look at this amphibious assault. So I'm getting clobbered at Johnston, but we're ignoring that at the moment. It's the sort of thing you don't usually, you won't lose this badly when you're actually concentrating on what you're doing. So Task Force 2, request permission to launch aircraft against Making. I'm going to say no for now. Let's get them in. Again, you can, and I do as well, but I'm doing things. I just want to show you some, obviously some features. There's a lot going on now because the Japanese are obviously well supplied and moving forward. Got a question. I'm assuming the morale adds multiplier to combat ability and effectiveness. Do certain commanders affect the abilities of the fleets? Yes. Oh, here we go. State of war. Admiral, the Imperial Japanese Navy has almost has almost taken control of the Pacific theatre. Unless we can push back, the president is considering a surrender to the Japanese. So yeah, you've got traits, and so the fleets will start to learn different traits, and they can be crew or commander traits essentially, and they'll appear in your in these little bits here. And yeah, you get multipliers here. You know, better at detecting enemy subs, or better at targeting the enemy quicker. Right, let's get in here. Right then, so I think we got preempted because I think there's a enemy activity as well. So we've got some little things here. So we're going to start the battle. Keep them in formation. So if I attack and let the computer do its thing, then the carrier will stay off. I can let the enemy fleet go off and start to run, you know, take a run at the port, because I think what I've got is I've got some fleets coming at me now, which is going to slow down the amphibious assault. So I can let that happen. So if I get rid of the here we go. So we've launched an amphibious assault on Macon now. I just want to speed that up so we can. Steam JWS. By the way, I'm sure we all get our butts kicked starting out, so no big deal on your play style. Yeah, no, it's I've definitely, it's one of those things. I've definitely done a lot better than this before, but obviously this is not. Yeah, this is not the way to. This is a good tip on how not to play it in some respects, but I just want to show you some features. So I've moved these right in now, just as a panicky, you know, trying to beat the fleets coming at me. I'm going to keep the carrier. So if I select the carrier, bring it out, I can get the destroyer leader. Let's get them into a task force, and I'm going to get these into a line, bring them closer here. So what we can do is start the assault now, and we've got basically the landing fleet starts to move in like so, and they need to be protected as well. So I need to keep an eye on those, because if any, what we'll have is, if we're not careful, is a fleet up here. I don't think they're going to get there in time. When you get a big rectangle like this, they're a lot further away, and so I'm not going to get any information as to what they are. So essentially, I think I should be all right with this landing. If we can just take out the rest of these. I think the thing is that Macon's been pretty levelled anyway, so as long as, because obviously I've been softening it up with some raids and things like that, so I might actually get this fleet here and select defend, and then they'll go over and protect the enemy fleet as well, the landing fleet as well, and these will move in. So what you can do then as well is you can look at it on the I mean, if there was more fleets to manage and things like that, I would be a lot more cautious at this point and probably think, you know, I want to be in there, I want to, you know, get my battle fleet and things like that. But I've actually, as of right now, with the raid on Macon and softening up that area, and the enemy's been pushing again. This is where they've oh look, see, last known position of 3 battleships. So we've got a few things coming in. So there's probably things around here that are going to join this battle unless we can finish it off quick. But right now, I'm quite happy to let the let this run off on the bridge. And if you can see here, you got that's your assault fleet coming in, and that will take. There you go. We've successfully taken Macon. Enemy vessels spotted near the Gilbert Islands. I'm not really bothered about that at the moment. And there we go. We've gone up in experience. So the Portal class destroyer leader is now available at any shipyard, and I get some war bonds for capturing Macon. And again, now the thing is that Macon has got, taken a lot of damage. Oh, that's quite a nice little target. So they've taken a lot of damage now as well, Macon. So I've got. What you need to do is obviously make sure you've got enough support to protect these things, like because what we're doing now as well in taking Macon and going along here, we're drawing enemy forces away from the other islands. So already I can see that this was the last known position in the direction of those battleships, so I know they're coming to take back Macon. That probably means there's something else there as well. But this is where it gets a bit risky, and the more you can actually go to supply an enemy, to supply your fleets and supply the ports, the better. So building cargo ships, building defence fleets. Right now, look, see, that's the thing. You do raids, you do amphibious assaults, you get war bonds. So you can see here we've got, and again, these upside down icons are the battleships that are we're putting in game. They were requested by the community, so they're going in, as well as other ones that if you go on the Steam forum. So yeah, so we could build a carrier fleet if we wanted to, centered around whatever we want. Essentially, you could build sub fleets, you can build destroyer fleets. You can tailor it however you want. Obviously, it takes a while for the to get a Yorktown class carrier and things like that to come out. And we've got, like I said, we've got more carriers that unlock as we go. There's quite a few down here. Bajiro says, "Is it possible to use the planes on the battleships?" Yes, that's another thing we can do. For instance, yeah, you can literally get your own fleet, depending on the range. Obviously, the range is small on these ones. Some of the Catalinas and that have a really nice big range. But again, this is where you want to extend out your front line so you can actually reach things. Yeah, you can actually send planes out to take them out. They've making at the moment we've got one Kingfisher spotter on there, but yeah, we can literally send out. If I get my carrier, we can actually select torpedo bomber flights, and well, we'd obviously have to move the carrier a bit, but we could send planes if they're in range. We can basically select them and bomb. Smiley One says, "Can you trade supplies between ships and islands, and can you set up trade routes between countries?" Yes. Well, so we've done it because we did originally plan to put in literal supply routes, but again, it just got to the point where it got so there's a lot in this game already, and it got so overwhelming that what we did was we went on the idea that if you get the port, and you can set priority. So at the moment, if you see San Diego set to surplus, so the cargo fleets are coming into San Diego and then bringing stuff out to Hawaii and so on, and so they'll move them onto the front line. So if I set Pearl to high, that'll start the trade routes coming in to Hawaii, basically. And could you set up trade routes between countries? Yeah, and also what you can do is we can resupply between fleets as well. So you could literally click on there and repair and resupply, that sort of thing. At the moment, they're out of range. But yeah, you could refuel. So they've got a refuel here. But again, look, it's warning me. Cannot refuel a fleet with over 20% fuel remaining. Durango says 78 days to build a carrier. Is that a joke? No, what it is, we've it's abstracted. This is where the game's abstracted, basically, because of the way that, because for balance and the way it works, we've looked at ways of being able to build fleets for the RTS side of things and actually get fleets out there and playing. And again, the Japanese have got the same sort of thing. So it's mainly more about getting, being able to build and customize your own fleets. Because yeah, it is a big abstraction there, but it took so long. Obviously, it does, but it took so long to build these things that you'd sit there for ages without anything to do. So we wanted to make sure that we had plenty of ships, plenty of options for building and things like that. And again, this is where the sim stuff stops, and it's more for the fun side of RTS, because with a proper sim, and you do it all properly, then we'd want that. And we did originally have much, build times were much longer, but we just got to a point where it's like, you want to be able to build and play these fleets, so they're all changed based around that, essentially. So yeah, so I think we've showed you a bit of an amphibious assault there. I was hoping it was going to be some bigger fleets, so I think we've got fleets coming in, but I don't think they're going to get in time. I'll show you the raid. Next time we're going to more depth with it. I'm going to plan another Twitch stream soon, and we'll have a look at trying to get some larger fleet attacks as well, some larger fleet combats going on, and I'll build some ships for it, so we've got some options. Because again, like I said, it's a lot in terms of where you can combine fleets, split fleets, create your own fleets. If I do that, I've now created 2 task forces here, so I could send one task force against the tankers and the destroyers, and one to go and raid Terrara or something like that. But yeah, so there's lots of options. I think that's it for now. We'll have a think that if you've got any ideas on what you'd like to see next time, if there's something that I haven't shown yet, feel free to. But thanks for watching, everyone, and I will notify you as soon as I can about when we'll do the next Twitch stream, and we'll start to try and take some go deeper into the Pacific, maybe even try and take truck, and see how long I can hold it, because that's a lot of fun. Seen JWS quickly saying, historical versus fun agree, no fun waiting on one of the quicker builds. USS Yorktown laid down 1st of December 1941, launched 21st of January 43. Yeah, that was the problem we had. It's like exactly that. And so it was for the sake of the game, we wanted to be able to get fleets out quicker for the player, and so it's more fun that way. So yeah, again, that would be something also that we'll probably put on the mods, so you can actually, if you want to do it properly and set the build times to longer, then we'll be able to. But again, anything for mods and things like that, come up on the Steam forum, and go from there. And yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I will see you soon.